called for a permanent ceasefire in the Palestinian enclave. Pope Leo said that the release of hostages still held by Hamas and reaffirmed the Vatican's backing of a two-state solution to the long-running Israeli-Palestine conflict. He also added that a prompt resumption of negotiations was hoped for to secure the release of all hostages, urgently achieving a permanent ceasefire, facilitate the safe entry of the humanitarian aid into the most affected areas, and ensure full respect for the humanitarian law. Isaac Herzog said that religious leaders and all who choose the path of peace must stand together in calling for immediate release of the hostages and a first and essential step towards a better future for the entire region. Professor Kobi Michael, he is the senior researcher at the INSS and Misgav Institute in Jerusalem, joins me on the telecast. Thank you very much. And of course, I do want to understand from you, what is the significance, what is the symbolism attached to President Herzog's visit to the Vatican and meeting the Pope?
Hi, good afternoon. I don't think that there is any direct linkage that we can make, although, to Gaza and to the hostages deal or issue, although I'm sure that President Herzog will raise the issue during the meeting with the Pope. I don't think that the Pope is so influential in this regard. I think that there are very few players that can be considered as influential when it comes to Hamas. The leading are Qatar and Turkey, and unfortunately, both players are not pressured enough yet by the United States, neither by others.
Right, absolutely. Professor Kobi, I do want to understand from you, what is the sentiment within Israel, amongst the citizens of Israel? We see there are these protests that have been going on for the last so many days and weeks, where residents, the family members of the hostages, are demanding that the hostages be released at the soonest and a peace deal be negotiated by the government as soon as possible.
Yes, unfortunately, the Israeli society is deeply divided in this regard. There is no doubt that there is a very broad public sentiment with regard to the hostages, and there is, I would say, very well organized protest against the government, or protest that pressures the government to go for a deal as if it is really related to the Israeli government, as if the Israeli government will say yes, then we will have a deal with Hamas. Unfortunately, this is not the situation. The deal depends on Hamas much more than on Israel. As far as I understand the situation, Hamas is not there yet, and as far as I understand, Hamas is not going to be there in the soon future. The most, I would say, probable thing that might be is that Hamas will be ready to go for a partial deal, something that Israel rejects right now. But I assume that if it will be the only option on the table, the Israeli government will accept it. It is not good for Israel, because it means that we are not going to have the rest of the hostages, and it means that resuming the war after that will not be an easy task at all.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Professor Kobi Michael, for joining me and sharing your views. Moving on to another piece of